Namaste, magicians, and welcome to Soul Horoscope Superscope Weekly Report. My name is Christopher Witecki. I call myself the Sensei to Serious Joy. I've realized that's what I want to do on Earth, is help everyone step into serious joy, including myself. It's not easy, you know. And if you haven't noticed, it's Friday. I'm now releasing my Soul Horoscopes on Fridays. I'm back from a personal spiritual hiatus. I've relocated my studios to a new place in California, and I am really set up for my serious joy. So I'm going to help you step into your serious joy if you want to follow along this year. And who am I talking to here? I'm talking to the Pisces, okay, the fishies, and Pisces Risings, by the way, whom I call Step 7. In fact, you are the 7th step to serious joy. More on that later. I've been gone for a little while, and what you are focusing on is out of birthday and into soul capital. Soul capital is money, the ability to manifest moolah, the ability to bring in, as they say in the spiritual talk, abundance. But at the very base of this consciousness, when you're building up through law of attraction what you're worth, you have to work on what I call your value system, what you value at the core. So up until this horoscope, old value systems were breaking down. And now as we move into this week and the next week, you're going to be building on a new value system. And this value system, I argue, is a greater value system than you've ever had so far on Earth. No matter what age you are, Pisces everywhere are reinventing themselves, and Pisces Risings, to draw in abundance from a new ego and a new strength that's based on a new direction. But there's a lot of other factors to that new. Now, you're probably saying, it's not happening. Everything is all held up in traffic. Bingo. We have what we call a grand cross right now. A grand cross is when 4 planets come into 180 degrees. Two sets of 2 planets come into 180, and they all do this. It's a traffic jam. Earth is in the center. Now, the reason is we're trying to shift out of an old us and into a new us. And in the next 3 weeks, that's when it's going to happen profoundly. All right? Let's look at the 4 points of the stories for Pisces and see where you're held up, and recognize there's really only 2 places you can move ahead right away. These 4 places are at the top, your social life; at the bottom, your personal dreams with Jupiter. On the other side, Uranus is your ability to raise money, and on the other side is Mars, your personal boundaries. So as you see, to be able to raise capital for yourself and manifest abundance, you're going to have to be doing a little bit of spiritual shifting. It's kind of like naked twister. It's going to be fun. When you come out of it, you're going to be a butterfly that can draw on a high value, okay? So let's first move on the first point. Now, in my megascope, I get into the depth of this slide, but Uranus has been in Aries trying to raise your soul capital basically since 2010. And we are in April 2014. This is the point where you can change things, where you can really dramatically raise your soul capital. And this is a first break point for the first time since 2010. So no matter who you are as a Pisces, this is probably the first time you are raising capital. Now, on the other side of that story, you're going to have to change what you are comfortable with. That's one of the big issues here. And Pisces are super sensitive, and Pisces Risings are super sensitive. You're empaths. You pick up on everything. So as far as, boundaries and sensitivity, you're very cool with a lot of things, but you're usually not cool with it being on the Earth's terms. It's usually only on your terms. So Mars is retrograding, which means that you're going to reconfigure how it is you close and open up to the world between now and May 20th. And that is one of the tug of wars. Where do I draw my lines, and how do I raise my soul capital? And I help teach this in the moment for my GA Venus clients, by the way. It's something you have to learn. Now, going back to the Grand Cross, that's 2 of the sides. The other 2 sides is a tug of war between who you believe you are in the world, and on the other side, your inner child wanting to go play and wanting to have fun. All right, which is what we all came to do, by the way. Leos are our example. So the Pluto part of this, you're almost done growing. Pluto retrogrades on April 15th. So this part of you that thinks you have to be somewhere else in the world, and the part of you that's changed your reputation and started to change your title, some Pisces are preparing to retire. It kind of depends. But this effort will take a break in just about a week and a half. So that's a good thing. That's one side of the tension cord. The other side of the tension cord is Jupiter in Cancer. And this is really where I teach most of the change can be for Pisces and Pisces Risings, because honestly, this is the only planet moving forward, right, in this whole construct. Pluto is for a minute. It's going to retrograde. So in that sense, you have to respond differently. This is where most of your opportunity is, to respond differently to your own inner child. And I teach in a serious, joy, encouraging way. No matter what society brings you, you want to respond to your child as if everything's going to be just fine. And this is an encouraging, self-loving energy, which is uber important to move forward. So this week, what you're jumping into as we move through the week, we have a grand square moving into next week, which is April 6th through the 12th. I'm getting used to like forecasting ahead now instead of forecasting in. And in this next week, the real essence here is you're going to commit to a strength. You're going to commit to a self-esteem. That's what you're going to do. You're going to say, you know what, I'm worth this, and that's it, and blah, 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 okay? And really the turning point, if I have to map it out, will be on between Friday and Saturday of next week. That will be the turning point where you have to emotionally claim your value. We also have a very powerful yacht on Saturday that will help you reach that value. So in essence, what you want to do with all of this is you're trying to raise self-esteem. You got to get out of your own way. You're going to change who you are in the world, but really the way to change everything is to respond differently to your own heart, to encourage yourself, to keep yourself in the love, in the moment, and ride that emotional vibration. Just be flexible in the Pisces way as you hit the interesting tides, and that will get you through the eureka point. Now, for the people who are 7VQs, which means that you have Venus in Pisces, I've got some very exciting news for you. Your love story is going to now move into high gear. Venus is not retrograde. Venus is moving ahead super fast, and it's moving and blazing into Pisces this week. What that means is you're going to have the 7VQs are going to feel love kind of return to their bloodstream. You're going to begin to be attractive again to the same sex or opposite sex, depending on what you're into, right? And actually on Thursday of this coming week, I predict the 7VQs will have a bit of a profound shift or change go on in their love life. Something surprising might happen. Now, since Mars is retrograde, that surprise might be an old lover coming back. I would engage but not get engaged. I would just kind of like float along and see what that's about, because the 7VQs will be doing some clearing, but Love Fest Day this month is in Pisces, and so this is really an awesome recharge. I'm excited to see the 7VQs. Remember, when you're a 7VQ, you pretty much float around based on where God sends you, so I guess you could say the universe is sending you to a new place. Now, if you want to know more about your VQ or learn about it, we have a place on Facebook at gavenus.me. And if you want me to coach you in the moment, come to gavenus.com. Well, that about wraps it up. I do want to wrap up with one little insight from myself here, and that is I've recorded a megascope that goes over the entire month of April that'll really help you dive deep. In fact, I have the time in these scopes. It's a full 30-minute video. It's $13.95, and you can see through the whole month. We have a lunar eclipse on April 15th I go into. We have a solar eclipse on April 29th I go into. I go into a special in Uranus and Aries perspective that give you an idea of how far you've come in income, and I give you a 5-year prediction on when the real money will come. That's all just for $13.95 at soulmark.me. All right, I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I will be back next Friday, and I look forward to serving in the future. Stay in your serious joy, Pisces. I love you, and live, love, be.